I want to welcome you all to the 28th Annual Saline Salutes Citizens Award Program. The Chamber's been putting this on since its beginning, and it's always one of my favorite events because we get to honor our citizens that make us who we are. And, I don't know, I just like this one. It's a time when we can come together and we can say thank you for all that these people have done for us. They are our best and brightest. I guess the one thing, most of the people that I've ever seen get this award, this is about the last thing in the world that any of them want to do is stand up here in front of all you people. I call it back of the class syndrome. You just want to sit back and do things and not be recognized. And I'm sure for every one thing that we thank them for doing, there's 100 other things they do in the background that nobody realizes that they did. So this is our chance to kind of pull them out of the woodwork and give them a hearty pat on the back. I guess let me clean up a little bit of business that I have for us. Some thank yous. I would like to thank our host and major sponsor, EHM Senior Solutions. This has been a wonderful place to come to. We have really enjoyed it. I don't know if you've made it down to the art area down at the other end. That's really cool. They've got a beautiful setup down there. We had wonderful roaming dinner. We had wine tonight, which I know was a popular thing with many of you. Our additional sponsors, Golden Limousine, Farmers Insurance, Lynn Thomas Perry, Dan's Downtown Tavern, and Saline Pharmacy. We can't do this stuff without our sponsors. It just doesn't happen. Heidi McClellan Photography did all of our pictures. We thank her very much. She took our board pictures, and she does a lot of work for us and does a very fine job. Hannah Benedict, Miss Saline 2016 runner-up, was our entertainment, and I would give her a round of applause, but I believe I saw her get in her car with her mother. And of course, if you made it down there, the artists at Salt Valley lined the halls with artwork, and it was pretty cool to see. So before you leave, if you get an opportunity and haven't been down there, make a point of going down there. We would like to thank Marine Designs and Saline Flowerland for the flowers that we had around and that our honorees are wearing. The City of Saline and Saline area schools for their ongoing support and assistance with this event. TRAN and the Saline Post and SCTN TV for their help in promoting and covering our awards. And with that, I get to sit down for my first time, and I'd like to bring up Jeremiah Johnson, who thankfully for us hosted our pre-event for our honorees in his office of J. Anderson Financial.
So it was my job this year, as John mentioned, to host the pre-party for the event. And the entire purpose of that is to feed as many drinks as I can to your honorees this evening to enhance their speech. I myself am sporting some red wine smile this evening, so great for the pictures tonight. But to start off with, I have a few more thank yous and acknowledgments this evening. First off, again, to EHM Senior Solutions, but to the staff and to Chef Todd for all the wonderful food and all the work they put in to help making this evening happen. So let's thank you. And I'd also like to acknowledge in attendance tonight some of our folks that both are part of the planning committee and the volunteers for this event this evening, so outside of the staff, and also the selection committee members that help to select the honorees this evening. In fact, if I could have the volunteers and the selection committee in the audience, if you could stand, those that are in the audience. Thank you, David. Thank you. and to acknowledge some additional folks this evening. As I was walking around the room, I saw several other previous award winners here this evening. So I'd like to have them all stand as well. So I saw Karen Ragland is here, Jill Dernan is here, Dave Eberline is here, Carol and Larry Osterling are here, thank you. Carla Scruggs, John Olson, Tim Driscoll, and anybody I missed that David Rhodes, thank you very much, thank you. And we have some of our government officials are here in attendance tonight. So we have Dustin Krasny from Congressman Wahlberg's office is here, and our very own Mayor Brian Marl is here as well. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Donna Lazinski as well. Thank you. Donna Lazinski, thank you. And tonight, all of our government representatives have prepared tributes for all of the honorees this evening. And rather than have each of them speak to each of the honorees, we're going to have them take turns and deliver their tributes to our honorees this evening as well. So I'd like to now take a moment and actually give up the microphone. Heather Feldkamp serves with me on the board of directors for the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. So she has gone out of our way to help make a difference in our business community here this year with her volunteer work. She's also a member of the staff at EHM, so she's part of EHM's very own this evening, and she's going to be our MC and handle the rest of the evening's festivities. Please join me in welcoming Heather Feldkamp.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Ooh, sorry, maybe I don't have to get so close to that. So yeah, I feel a little bit like Frosty the Snowman. I'm melty, I'm like, it's so warm. Wore the warmest outfit, I own. Who would have known? So anyway, greetings. Like they said, I'm very excited to be for our 28th annual Saline Salutes Awards, but I'm even more so to be excited to have it here at the Center of Innovation and Education that we have. That's new to us at EHM. So you all look great. It's been nice to see everybody, and my little get up here kind of has some history. My family questions it and they pick on me. My daughter, the first time I wore this outfit, said to me, "You look like you're running for office." And so my little infamous get up every time I wear it, they go, "Oh, look at Mom, she's trying to be presidential again." So here I am. There's my outfit. So who needs enemies, right? But without further ado, I would like to introduce our host, the lady that signs my paychecks and was instrumental in helping us create this event that we have that we're enjoying together this evening. President and CEO of EHM Senior Solutions, Ms. Denise Rabideau.
I didn't expect Heather to introduce me. I guess I didn't read the program very well. So welcome to the Center for Innovation and Education. You actually have helped us just break the wine out and party together, and that's so fun. A new way to celebrate this community gift, right? And so we're so glad to have you here. A little different, right? Italians serve wine. So that's why you have wine tonight and a little different menu, and the chefs have done a great job. So I kept telling the committee that we're used to serving lots of individuals, almost 1,500 meals a day. So here, that's a piece of cake. We can do this with our eyes closed. But to the awardees, oh my goodness, what a gift. I grew up in an Italian family and chose to work in senior services. And so on my grandma's deathbed, she could have said anything to me, right? I had just graduated from nursing school. That was 39 years ago. And she looked me in the eye and, of course, didn't congratulate me for graduating from nursing school. She said to me, "Denise, don't worry about where you get in life. The best thing you can do is make an impact on your community and let others know that you're there for them. So congratulations to all of you. You have clearly made an impact on the community. You really have. So my grandmother would be proud. My Nonna would be proud of you tonight. So congratulations again. We're so happy to have you here. This will be one of many events. Are one of our physician partners, because we became the landlord for the medical staff that use this as their professional office, said, "Is this my coming out party too?" So all of the patients enjoyed a little wine on their way out as well. Hopefully it didn't affect the injections for their allergies that they got before that. But welcome again, and enjoy the evening, and thank you so much for being here.
And thank you, Denise. So, do we have any first-timers for the Saline Salutes event here tonight? Don't be shy. Great. That's awesome. So I'm going to give you a little history and tell you a little bit about it, or why we do it. So what Saline Salutes Awards means to our community. Saline Salutes, as we've already kind of stated, started nearly 30 years ago. And it was a way to recognize the hundreds of people in our community that are dedicated. They dedicate their time and their talent helping make Saline area a great place to both live and work. The annual awards that you're at this evening are to honor just a few of those outstanding people each year. The Saline Chamber of Commerce, as John had mentioned, is very proud to have developed the Saline Salutes Awards program and the process of identifying and honoring these dedicated people. Each year, the Saline Chamber seeks nominations from the community at large and assembles a blue ribbon review panel of civic leaders from all segments of the community. This panel meets only one time, but their task is very important. Using the nomination information and the award criteria that you'll learn about in a little bit here, the panel discusses the nominations until they decide on one honoree for each category, and I can tell you that's not easy. Then it's time to plan the Saline Salutes event that you're enjoying this evening, where the community can come and celebrate with these exceptional citizens. We think Saline Salutes is our very own Hall of Fame, or if you were checking out the hallway, it's really the Walk of Fame tonight, right? And we want to celebrate the program, and it just forever remembers all of the honorees, and we're very grateful in this community to have them. And when you visit the Saline Chamber offices, you will note that there's etched names in each plaque, and this is in celebration of the people in our community and their promise for bettering our future. This event and volunteering in general always reminds me of a small but favorite quote of mine from Winston Churchill. "You may make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give." So I would like to, at this point, we're going to start with the awards. But I will soapbox for just a second as I read through these and I give you the criteria, be thinking about it. We struggle every year to get honorees. People are kind of have that deer in the headlights, like, oh, I gotta come up, I gotta nominate somebody, and it's not top of mind. So be thinking throughout 2017, please, on other folks in your life that you cross and other volunteers that may fit in some of these categories. The Chamber would really appreciate your support. So without further ado, we'll start with the first award. And you've been watching the rolling things here, so there's no real secrets here. But the first responder is our first award. The first responder award is given to a police, fire, or EMS person serving in the Saline area who went above and beyond their job and their duties in 2016. So at this point, I would like to invite Jay Basso and our own Saline Police Chief, Larry Rennick. Come on up, please.
Well, good evening. Sergeant Basso is commonly known as Jay, even though his real name is James, but hopefully he'll tell you why he goes by Jay. He's been employed by our department now for the past 20 years. He holds an associate's degree in law enforcement and is just a few credits short of his bachelor's degree. He's a graduate of the Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command, which is a 350-hour school, the Michigan Police Executive Development School put on by the FBI, and the Saline Leadership Institute, which a lot of you, I'm sure, have attended. Whenever Jay is asked to complete an assignment, there is never a worry that the assignment is going to be completed correctly and in a timely manner. Jay takes on an extreme amount of tasks and performs them with the utmost professionalism. He constantly looks for an additional responsibility without being asked. If he sees an issue, he's proactive to fix it. Jay is always the one not to ask what to do, but rather ask, what else can I do? In an article, Takers, Givers, and Matchers, written by Adam Grant, people are described in the following three categories. Takers. Takers are those that like to get more than they give. Matchers, those are the ones that strive for an equal balance, take and get as much as they can and give as much as they can. But then there's the givers. They are a rare breed, and they prefer to give more than they get. Givers are other-focused, paying more attention to what other people need. A giver strives to be generous with his time, knowledge, energy, skills, ideas, and connections with other people. This describes the 2017 First Responder recipient. It is why I am privileged to have nominated him, and I give you Sergeant Jay Basso, the Saline Salutes 2017 First Responder of the Year.
At the get-together earlier, everybody was kind of showing their speeches and the large fonts, and I was worried that I'd have to break my glasses out to be able to see what I read. So I tend to kind of wing things as I go. I got them too, I'm just not going to put them on. I've been a police officer here for 20 years. I've started when I was 21 in other agencies, as you saw on my plaque. And this is a great place to work. Law enforcement and public safety as a whole is under great scrutiny in this day and age. This community backs its first responders. I can't tell you in the last year how many lunches have been paid for. And I go through the drive-through and they say, don't worry about it, the person behind you bought it. That says a lot about the community and the chamber and all the support that everybody gives the first responders, not just law enforcement, but emergency medical responders and the fire department as a whole. So this community should be proud. This isn't just an award for me. It's about the community and how they support their first responders. So I applaud you and everybody here who might listen to this, thanking you for giving us the support that other communities may not get. So thank you for your support for us. In 20 years, I can count on one hand that I've not had to work a holiday. In 20 years. Now that I have 20 years on, I can take vacation. I have enough seniority that I can bid it. So I can't be here without family and my wife, Tara. My son, Drew, stand up. My sister, Kathy Andrews. And my Aunt Lou. And then close friends outside of police work and outside the community and things. Support from Jeff Hanna. So as you see in the pictures, I coach a 11 or 13U baseball team, and it's my son's team, and that's awesome. I have 15 kids, so I don't just have one son, I have 15, and they're all mine. And they're my wife's, and we take care of them. She works for the schools, so we take care of all the kids. But they're the future. Support your kids, support in anything they do, because they are the future, not only in life, but in criminal justice, in law enforcement. The next generation, we've got to make sure that educate them so that they can carry on the pride, the traditions that we currently have. So, and then public officials, we can't do it without the support of the public officials. Mayor Morrow, the support of law enforcement and fire and EMS is very prevalent with Brian Morrow. So I'm thankful for his support. The Saline Chambers, thank you for hosting this. The board who selected, and I can't do my job with the support without the support of my boss. So Chief Rennick, thank you for the nomination, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not done yet.
Now comes the hazing.
Okay. I'm used to that.
I guess where do I begin? You know, I've been in a lot of events over the years, and Sergeant Basso is always there for us. And by the way, we were talking one time, and I said, "Call me John." He goes, "Anything you'd like, Mr. Olson." So it's like, okay, whatever. But he's always there. You know, here's my cell phone. Anything goes on, give me a call, and he's there like that, getting us what we need when we need it. He's always there for this community. On a more personal note, my son went through criminal justice at school, and he wanted to do an internship with the police department. And we got him hooked up here with the Saline department. And Sergeant Basso was one of them who kind of took him along and showed him the ropes. And to this day, the sun rises and sets on him. So he thinks he's a great guy. But it is my privilege and honor to give you this award from the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce as our first responder, and congratulations. And don't go anywhere because there's more.
Excuse my back. Dustin Krasny, District Director for Congressman Tim Wahlberg's office. A great. Thank you, Keith. Sergeant Basso, it was great to speak with you earlier about your service here in Saline for over 20 years. But it's interesting to note that his family has had a long line of service, with his father serving in Ann Arbor for a number of years as well. So that lineage is strong, and we are truly humbled and honored for your family's dedication. And I have a congressional tribute from Congressman Tim Wahlberg's office, who is supposed to be here today to present it to Sergeant Basso, but there was a little vote going on in the House of Representatives today. So I have this tribute.
Kind of like the blue flu.
Yeah. I have this congressional tribute from the U.S. House of Representatives, as well as other tributes from the mayor, state representative, and county commissioner Alicia Pegg. So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant. As he takes all this hardware back to his chair. The next award, the Hometown Hero Active Duty. This is the first year, kind of hence my little speech a little while ago, first year that the Hometown Hero Active Duty Award has been presented. It is given to an active duty member of the United States military for their exemplary service and dedication to our country during 2016. So at this point, I would like to invite, he said he goes by Jake Fry, and his sister, Stephanie Klink, up to the podium.
Okay, well, good evening. As she said, I'm Stephanie Klink. I'm Staff Sergeant Jacob Fry's sister. But to me, he's just Jake. I'm I'm so very proud of my brother. I have a lot of respect for him and others in uniform for that matter. There's so many words that come to describe Jake, especially when he's dressed like this. Brave, strong, selfless, smart, confident, and loyal. But again, he's my brother, so there's other words that come to mind, like witty, dorky, sometimes grumpy, but he's also my friend. Jake, the Army looks good on you. You got to go to so many cool places. You met Becky, my amazing sister-in-law, and now you have 2 great little girls. You've met some good friends, and you have really excelled in your education and various trainings. Mom and I, and all of your family here tonight and friends, we've seen you become the young man you are today. And of course, you know your biggest fan is looking down on you from heaven. The least I could do as your sister was to have nominated you for this award tonight. I was beyond words to have learned that you have won. I am so honored to be here introducing you tonight. Jacob Fry.
I'm gonna wing it. I don't know what to say after that. Stephanie, I love you. You've been a great sister and a great supporter. After all my endeavors, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God. He's the reason why I'm here today. My beautiful wife, my girls, my family, the community of Saline. I don't know how to put it into words. I know it's not been easy at times to deal with me or how you understand how I think at times, but thank you for everything. I can't top that. I got nothing. The Army's been the greatest choice I've ever had. I'm not going to stand on any platform or anything like that. But it's helped me take care of my family. It's helped me get to where I am today. It's helped me with my education. It's been the greatest decision I made in my life. As hard as it was to step away from the community. Grandma, Grandpa, I know you guys are here. You guys are a huge part of my upbringing. The farm was the greatest thing I had. That taught me how to be a man. Taught me how to work. Please, no pictures for the paper right now. But you don't understand how much I reflect back on that time and how grateful I was to have that growing up. Other than that, thank you. God bless. Thank you for having this community event tonight.
Well, I promise I won't hug you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I have a son who's now National Guard and, been through basic training, and now they actually let you see pictures of them so the parents can get on the internet, and it's like, can you pick him out of all these shaved head guys who all look alike? And my daughter-in-law just got back from a tour. Well, she was all over the place over there, Kuwait, Iraq, all over the place. And I say that because, you have to go back a generation or so in my particular family before anyone served. And it's a different lifestyle. It's a different commitment. It's a different, to watch it through my son and daughter-in-law's eyes. You guys are special people. It's just not something that everybody can do. I just wish I could come up with the words to express how grateful we are that you are there protecting our country and our rights and, everything else that we have. It's a pretty important thing, and we certainly do appreciate it. But this seems to pale, but we do. Thank you very much for being our hometown
That's pretty cool.
active duty hero.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't know, you ready for that?
Well, Staff Sergeant, I'm State Representative Donna Lisinski, and as a citizen, thank you very much for your service and your protection, and as the mother of 3 teenage boys, for the example you set. I think sometimes we forget when we see the examples that our children are looking up to, how hard sometimes it is to find a good example. And you set an example that all of our sons and daughters, we'd be very proud to have them, for you, as to be their role model.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. So on behalf of the state of Michigan, on behalf of Governor Rick Snyder, Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, State Senator Rebecca Warren, and myself, your state representative, we're very pleased to offer this tribute in your name, along with the tribute from Representative Wahlberg and Brian Merrill. Thank you so much, Mayor Morrow. Thank you.
Well, Craig, you were right. He's like, there's gonna be, like, a coworker of mine happens to be Jake's cousin. He's like, Stephanie's gonna cry. We all did, but that's okay. Okay. Well, for award number 3, Orrin Parsons Distinguished Veteran Award. This is the second year for the Orrin Parsons Distinguished Veteran Award, which is given to a veteran who demonstrated exceptional valor, courage, and the dedication to U.S. Armed Services during their enlistment. The award will be accepted on behalf of Jeffrey Bowen by his brother, Ken Bowen. So at this juncture, I would like to invite to the podium Ken Bowen and Dustin Krasny.
Well, this is a little different role for me, being a presenter of this award. And I know it's warm in here and the night is moving along, but I'll take as long as I want on this award. The 2017 Orrin Parsons Distinguished Veteran Award goes to Jeffrey Michael Bowen. Jeffrey Michael Bowen joined the Marine Corps shortly after graduating Saline High School in 2005. He enlisted as an infantryman at the height of combat operations during the war in Iraq, almost guaranteeing to serve at the front lines. Jeff excelled at the physically enduring and mentally straining demands. He was rated an expert with a rifle and scored perfectly on the physical fitness test. Jeff passed a very challenging week-long endurance test to join his unit's elite scout sniper platoon and was sent to Fallujah, Iraq, shortly after the invasion took place. He served as a machine gunner in support of a sniper team and carried out many missions with only a few fellow Marines deep in enemy territory. Jeff served in 2nd Battalion, 6th Marine Regiment in the Scout Sniper Platoon and a Rifleman's Company. He reached the rank of corporal, which earned him the title of non-commissioned officer and the right to wear the dress sword with his uniform during special ceremonies. Jeff achieved the rank of corporal, an honor gained undoubtedly by using the hunting and outdoorsman skills gained from accompanying his father in the Michigan woods and fishing at his favorite spot in Dexter on Silver Lake. I witnessed those skills firsthand when I went hunting with him for coyote 3 years ago. During that afternoon hunt, he expressed to me his deep faith, his love of country, and his love for his family. These outdoor skills and lessons helped him excel with ease during all aspects of training. After his deployment, he deployed again on board a U.S. naval ship with his battalion of Marines as an expeditionary force, but was sent stateside after his brother was severely wounded. He assisted with his brother Ken's recovery and also helped take care of his handicapped father during the last year of his enlistment. His brother Ken, who is also a true American hero, lives here in Saline, is with us tonight. Corporal Jeffrey Bowen returned home to Saline after his deployment and married his wife Lauren and raised his 2 children, Augie and Tanner, and worked for Saline area schools. But that's allergies, by the way. That part was allergies. I have a 6-month-old son. That's my wife back there. But like so many other veterans, Jeff came home with the war. He suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, a condition that leaves permanent scars. He wanted to be remembered as a man of faith and a patriot. It is stated in the Gospel of John, "Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends." Therefore, our Saline community will always remember, appreciate, and cherish the love and ultimate sacrifice that Jeffrey ultimately paid for us. Jeff touched all those who were fortunate enough to meet him, and he will forever remind us that veterans sacrifice more than just years of their time. They continue to sacrifice even after the war is over and they return home. Therefore, it is my distinct honor and humble privilege on behalf of the Saline Chamber of Commerce to dedicate the 2017 Orrin Parsons Award, Distinguished Veteran Award, to Corporal Jeffrey Michael Bowen.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Thank you, Dustin, for the moving speech and for making this happen. And thanks for the Chamber of Commerce ceremony, Chamber of Commerce for the award ceremony. And I wish my brother was here to accept the award instead of me. Jeff was a brave, disciplined Marine, and he deserved to be recognized. He was always proud of being Marine, and I think he really found his faith while serving. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Jeff's service was that he never got any negative, he never got knocked down, he never got busted down, he never got any negative paperwork, and Jeff was one to speak his mind. He wasn't one to hold his tongue, and that's not always a good business move in the Marine Corps. So you know that he had to be good if he could get away with stuff like that, and he was. And Jeff never sought recognition or awards or medals, and he never got a lot of admiration. And so this is very much appreciated by the family, and thank you.
I spoke last time about the sacrifice and dedication to our country. It is, I don't know how you could even describe when it's the ultimate sacrifice that someone who loved our country and went and fought for it has given us. This award we started a couple of years ago, and as you can imagine, we actually had people who have fought in the Revolutionary War and moved here before they passed away. So we have people from the Revolutionary War on up that could be this awardee, and we had a ton of people who were put forward for this award, and I hope we get to all of them because they all deserved it. But as we're sitting around the table, this one struck everybody, and it was. I usually don't like to talk about it because it's supposed to be a secret thing that goes on, but it was unanimous without a blink of an eye, and I don't know how else it could have been any other way. So it is definitely my honor and my privilege to give you this on behalf of the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. And thank you for your brother's service.
Come on, Ken. Come on. Now it seems sort of trivial giving you these fancy paperwork items and things in frames and everything else, but it's the only thing we can do to show as a community, as a congressional figure, as a mayor, state representative, to show our appreciation. Like I said, not just to Jeffrey and Jeffrey's honor, but to you, to Keith, and to Wendy. So when you all see them around town, thank them, because they're still sacrificing to this day. So, thank you so much.
Purse out of here before I trip somebody. It's a hard one to follow. So number 4 is kind of a unique one for us. It's Youth of the Year. So honoree Riaz Clark, who's sitting in front of here. I'll call you up in just a moment, but let me explain what the Youth of the Year is all about in case you don't know. Saline Youth Council, a regular city commission considered city council for teens, is comprised of 13 high school aged voting members. It was formed in 2002 by then city council member Alicia Pink. Youth council members volunteer hundreds of hours every year in the Saline community. They host events for tweens and teens, like the annual overnight lock-in, volunteer at the Fifth Corner, Main Street, Parks and Rec, the Chamber, and make Saline a great place in which to live. This is the 15th year that the Saline Youth Council has sponsored the Youth of the Year Award in conjunction with today's Saline Salutes. Nominees must meet the following criteria: initiated change to better the Saline community, sustained participation in extracurricular activities in the last 2 years, and not benefited financially from the volunteering efforts. So at this point, I would invite Kelly Tressler and Riaz, see, I'm gonna say it wrong anyway, sorry. Riaz Clark to the podium, please.
Thank you, Saline Area Chamber of Commerce, for hosting this wonderful event. You reinforce the notion that business can be a place where the seeds of a healthy community are nourished, and tonight is a beautiful reflection of that. In recognizing those that go above and beyond to make Saline a great place to live and work, you inspire others to make their own unique and invaluable contributions, and thereby promote further growth of this community. Thank you again, Saline Area Chamber of Commerce, for the good work you do. I call Clinton home, but my family is connected to this community. I discovered Saline's charm years ago as a banquet manager over at Weller's, and my son loved Bemis Farms, and 16 years later, he now works part-time at a Saline business while going to school. Our trusted healthcare providers and favorite shops are here as well. Oh, and I met my husband Mike here in Saline, and in fact, we were the first couple married at your new City Hall by former Mayor Driscoll. So thank you, Saline. The Chamber of Commerce recognizes that Saline area schools are an asset here. And Saline area schools recognizes the importance of thriving business. In 2000, I joined the Saline area schools family, and I stand in tremendous gratitude for my time at Saline Middle School and now at the high school. In fact, I believe I had in 8th grade 2 of the honorees here tonight, not including Riaz. And it's amazing that I can earn a living in a community that values education as you all do, and in the company of premier colleagues, and in concert with young people that help me embrace hope. That leads me perfectly to Riaz. the 2017 Youth of the Year recipient. When I think of Riaz, I know that hope is our future. I've known Riaz for 4 years as a student in English and drama classes, and as a learner, Riaz respectfully pushes to forge his own divergent and far from the well-worn pathway. His creativity and desire to do things his way is sometimes challenging as a teacher and always intriguing as a fellow artist. Dr. Terry Jastrow, who couldn't be with us tonight, and I co-advise Uproar, which is Saline High School's Diversity Council. Riaz is our senior leader, following a 2-year internship for this position. As an active participant and leader, he has organized and led countless projects. His dedication and perseverance in the face of what could have been the demise of this group instead became a moment of rebirth thanks to his passionate efforts. For a less dedicated or resilient person, a setback can paralyze. Instead, Riaz created opportunity to make something better, and his efforts have been met with loads of success. Uproar is a grant award-winning diversity council that leads the way in increasing social justice in this, our community. This student-led group has educated and continues to educate themselves. They train peers within their own school and beyond, and they educate adults within our school, our district, and our larger community. A specific example of this work is the professional development this fall that Riaz co-facilitated for 300 plus district employees. This level of respect for social justice work and for a teen leader is too rare, and in this case, completely deserved. Riaz's work includes being a volunteer SEED, that's students educating each other about diversity, teen leader at the Neutral Zone, and a member of their LEAD program, which trains teens to step into leadership. Riaz has used these skills to facilitate the annual Youth Diversity Summit and his work, of course, in Uproar. These endeavors allow Riaz to reach out and help the next students who will then do this work and continue to impact our future. What a beautiful cycle that is. Riaz also works diligently as a leader in the fine arts world. He is active in the National Arts Honor Society. He represented youth leadership in arts-based learning at the Michigan Council for Arts and Cultural Affairs Conference and has received several accolades and awards for his art. Riaz Clark is a determined, passionate, and creative person. Riaz's work has changed the community near and far. Riaz's work glows with the light of hope. Riaz is a terrific embodiment of the spirit of this youth award. I have loved many children in this community. Some are sitting in this room. And I certainly love and respect you, Riaz. Please help me welcome and congratulate Riaz Clark.
I honestly regret wearing wool tonight. I really want to say thank you to Ms. Tressler because she's been probably like the best person in my life. I really, really want to start off with all of my thank yous because I got a ton. I want to start with my mom because without her, I legitimately wouldn't be here tonight because you know the reason why. I really, really want to thank her because she does everything for me and she would give up anything for me, and that's kind of amazing. I would really, really like to thank my art teacher who's right over there, Miss Cindy Koppelman. She has been the best teacher next to Miss Tressler, and they are absolutely amazing working together and separately.
she's always pushing me to make sure I get my best grades in art and do the best in my community. I really, really, really want to thank Ms. Tressler because her and Dr. Jastrow together nominated me for this award, and without them, I would not be standing here. Ms. Tressler has pushed me countless times to get out of my comfort zone and to possibly stay in my comfort zone when needed and help better our community, along with Dr. Jastrow, who couldn't be here tonight. I really also want to thank my co-leaders of Uproar, Kelly Coughlin and Allie Johnson, who are sitting in the second row, and our friend Abby Haddis, who could not be here tonight. They keep me grounded. They are my everything. We do everything together. Everything that Ms. Tressler has mentioned in her opening speech, we've done together. We are facilitators at LEAD. We are facilitators at SEED and at the Neutral Zone. I would love to thank our administration at the high school, Mr. Raft and Mr. Graydon, along with Mr. Lotch, for always keeping Uproar in their best interest and in their mind, doing whatever they can and whatever they need to do in order to keep our club running and bettering the community. I also want to thank Dr. Helber, the former principal at Saline High School, because I know if she was here, she'd be crying. She's done everything in her power to make sure our club has what it needs in order to prosper. I want to start off with what we as the leaders of Uproar call the work. The work for us is helping make our school and community a better place and a safer place for everyone by discussing important issues such as race, privilege, and socioeconomic status. I've been a part of Uproar since my freshman year, way back when it was going by a different name. At that time, I was put into a leadership role, and I don't think I was quite ready for that. But now that I'm a senior and I've been leading for 3 years, I've really come to love what I do. I love that we, Allie, Kelly, Abby, and I get to work with underclassmen and middle schoolers to pick their brains and get what they think needs to be fixed in our community. I love that we get to work with our administration to really, really change our community. I know that there is no end to the work that we do because we are all in a constant teach-learn cycle, everyone in this room. We do this because we want to see change. We do not do this because of recognition and awards. We do it because some people's lives depend on it, and I do know some of those people personally. I am not accepting this award or doing this work by myself. I am accepting this award and doing this work for all those people who cannot speak up for themselves. We are accepting this award and doing this work for all those who have lost their lives and lives of loved ones fighting for social justice. We are accepting this award and doing this work for everyone in this room. My hope is that all of you here this evening will join us in fighting for social justice and for what our great country stands for, equality for all. Thank you.
Soak it in.
I'm trying. This rivals a standing ovation from 300 teachers.
There you go.
Well, one sad fact tonight is I'm thinking much the same as I did last year, and my youth is still the same youth I had last year, so nothing's really changed for me. I'm always amazed at what these kids do. I think I had senioritis when I was a junior, so it just, wow, you know, to have that much passion for your community and your studies and everything else that you do is just, it's just beyond me how wow. we can look forward to a good future, I guess, can't we? That being said, it is my pleasure to present with you the Youth of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Good evening, my friends. First, let me say I'm usually not at a loss for words, but standing at this podium after a number of the presenters as well as the reward recipients is very humbling. And I want to congratulate everyone who is receiving an award tonight, very well deserved. And on behalf of myself, the City of Saline, and Saline City Council, we congratulate you and commend you. Thank you very much. Yes, please. So I have a resolution for this outstanding young man, and you will also be presented with letters of recognition from your Congressman Tim Walberg, your State Representative Donna Lazinski, as well as a certificate from County Commissioner Alicia Ping. Is that correct, Terry? Wonderful. Let me just highlight a few things, and there isn't much to add. Your presenter, your teacher, did a marvelous job. But I will say this. Your work on behalf of inclusion and equality and opportunity for all is very important, my friends. It must be said that in the 21st century, successful, vibrant communities are communities that adopt policies and attitudes that embrace all of our citizens and make sure that every one of us feels welcomed and secure. So the fact that, thank you, the fact that somebody so young would take a lead on something like this is really remarkable, and I encourage you to keep up the good work, and I am just so pleased. I was notified earlier today by Jody Roberts, a member of our terrific city staff, that the number of submissions for the Youth of the Year Award was the highest ever in 14 years since the Saline Chamber of Commerce decided to partner with us to present the Youth of the Year Award. And I think that speaks volumes for the work that you do and the type of individual that you are and the impact, the tangible impact that you make on our community. So again, congratulations and best wishes, my friend.
Very impressive. Riaz, right? Riaz. See, I can talk in front of you guys all day. It doesn't matter, but saying people's names wrong, that's the stress right there. That's a hard one to get over. So award number 5 is Citizen of the Year. It's exciting. I get to bring up 3 of my good girlfriends. This is going to be fun. Okay, the Citizen of the Year, as you can imagine, is an award given to someone who has made a significant volunteer contribution to the Saline community in 2016, and this award not only is going to go to Cindy Jupko, but she's also going to be the folks that are going to be giving it to her are past recipients. So I'd like to bring up all 3 of you, Cindy, Jill Durnan, and Karen Ragman, to the podium, please.
I won't be. Good evening, everyone. I am Jill Durnan, and I am the board president of Saline Main Street. Saline Main Street is a nonprofit organization, and we thrive on our volunteers. So we try to nominate one of those great volunteers every year for one of the prestigious Saline Salutes Awards. This year, when it came time for the board to make its decision on a nominee, the discussion was short and sweet. Cindy Jupko, no question, 100%. Cindy has led our organization from its infancy into a master level community within the Main Street program. But for 2016, she took the lead during a very trying time for downtown. Dare I say those 3 nasty words, Michigan Avenue construction. Saline Main Street's focus for the construction year was business retention. We joined with representatives from the city and other interested parties and created a construction task force, which was led by Cindy. The group came up with many ideas of ways to drive business to downtown Saline. We did what any good organization does. We stole ideas from other communities and adapted them to Saline.
and Pave It Forward was born. Pave It Forward was a multifaceted program. It included a raffle, which rewarded those that shopped in the downtown district. We marketed the districts with magnets, Pave It Forward paddles, yard signs, all in an effort to convey the fact that, yes, Saline was open for business during construction. The team also created a Meet Me in Saline campaign, which put a face to all the businesses downtown, articles on the Saline Post highlighting each business owner, and posters around town with their pictures on them. The result of this effort was we didn't lose a single business to construction. We met our goal. This couldn't have happened without Cindy's vision, leadership, organizational skills, and graphic design talent. She's an amazing woman and volunteer, and I am very proud to say she is a friend. So as you can see, it was a no-brainer for Saline Main Street to nominate someone for Citizen of the Year. Now you know about a little bit more about Cindy, the super volunteer. At this time, I'd like to hand it over to Karen Ragland, who has the honor of introducing Cindy the person.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you, Saline Area Chamber of Commerce. It's a real privilege to be here tonight. This is a fabulous event, and I really appreciate the recognition you give our community. So, I am not going to be as composed as Jill was. I'm going to probably blubber somewhat, but that'll be okay. I'll get over it, and so will you.
Come over here.
So, again, I'm Karen Ragland, and I'm the treasurer of Saline Main Street, and it is a great pleasure to be here tonight to honor and introduce my dear friend, Cindy Chupko. When Cindy asked me to share the introduction with Jill, I was flattered. I felt I could easily say a few words. One of the toughest things I had to do when I met Cindy was unlearn how to pronounce her last name. Many others and I had it wrong for quite a while. She was always gracious and did not correct me immediately, but when she did, she pronounced it phonetically so it was easy to remember. Chupko, as in the choo-choo train. As you would probably agree, the quality of the volunteer base in Saline is amazing. In fact, I believe one of Saline's biggest assets is its pool of top-notch volunteers. There are a lot of overachievers in this community. It is not surprising to me that Cindy rose to the top and was awarded Citizen of the Year for 2016. I believe one of the most remarkable accomplishments Cindy has made this past year was to reintroduce the community to our downtown. Not only did she manage to garner community support for our downtown via Saline Main Street volunteerism, but also she had the community embrace the downtown through the dreaded construction period. Without a doubt, Cindy is one of the most talented people I have ever met and had the pleasure of working with. We each play many roles in our lives, and Cindy is no exception. She is a daughter, a sister, a cousin, a niece, an aunt, a mother, a wife, a friend, employee, and hoping to be a grandmother one day. Cindy embraces all of her roles with commitment and passion. Cindy has a remarkable depth of character, which is what I'm going to focus on. I decided to be a little playful and invite the audience to help acknowledge Cindy's character traits. So, I've done this with the use of her initials, the CC, and nearby, under your chair, you will find a little flyer. I was wondering if you could pick it up. Not everyone has one, but so share it with your neighbor if you don't.
Are we going to do the wave too?
Yeah. So, Cindy Chupko is cooperative and considerate, cheerful and cordial, courteous and caring, confident and charismatic, courageous and committed, curious and creative, charming and cultured, clever and capable, connected, community-minded, charitable and celebratory, cool and collected, consensus, character and conviction, champion and change agent, commander-in-chief. Congratulations, Cindy. to present this to you, a memento.
I'm glad that
There's
wasn't
Cindy.
I'm glad that wasn't an 11 by 17. We'd be here a very long time. So when Officer Jay came up and he was talking about us, talking about at a reception, the font size of our speeches, that was Jim and I. Jim is a former HDR employee, and we have HDR people here. Thank you very much. My bosses too, so. Anyway, we both did 18 point, and I still don't think it's big enough, but maybe. It is, I agree with Mayor Morrow, it is very humbling to be in a room with people who are willing to give their lives and sacrifice their lives for all of us. I'm proud to say that I have two people in the room. My dad served in the Navy during the Korean War, and my father-in-law, where are you both? My father-in-law served in World War I on Iwo Jima. He was there when he saw the flag. And what was really funny was when my husband told him that I was receiving this award, he said, "Wow, she's really upholding the Chupco name." And this is a man who was honored at the U of M Veteran of the Game in front of 110,000 people. So I think you have that backwards a little bit. So I am going to put my glasses on just because I don't want to say something inappropriate if I can't read it right. There are three things I wanted to share with you. First, and I'm going to reiterate a few things that Jill said, but first, the Pave It Forward project began as a partnership between the City of Saline, the Saline Chamber of Commerce, and Saline Main Street, who led the charge and created a task force made up of business owners and many representatives of the community. It wasn't just me. We had 40 people over a year meeting and working on that one goal to retain our local businesses. Through this whole construction period, we hired a consultant and developed a plan, and once the plan was in place, our team went to work. The plan included a media tour, advertising, yard signs, business highlights, celebrations, social media, and primarily that raffle. That was a monthly raffle. The raffle was held throughout the entire construction project and encouraged the community to support our local businesses because they are so important to us. This program resulted in a redemption of over 25,000 tickets, equaling to over $250,000 invested in our community through that construction period. Please join me in saluting our volunteers, who there are many in this room, who gave their time to help, and to those of you who supported our businesses through this very challenging time. Secondly, speaking of our businesses, no one was more impacted by the construction than our local businesses. While we may have been a little bit inconvenienced by the traffic and the detours throughout that 7-month project, it didn't impact our livelihood. Our local businesses had to keep paying their bills and bear the burden of making sure that their staff was paid as well. And while our efforts may have helped mitigate the impact somewhat, my guess is that many are still trying to recover from that construction period. Our town wouldn't be the same without our local businesses, so please continue to support them. They are our friends, our neighbors, and they contribute back to our community in so many ways. And third, I am being honored for the time and talents I shared. I can't imagine life without using the talents that God gave me to change for the better. Sorry, thought I was going to do this. I'm fortunate enough that I found a spot here in Saline where my talents could come in handy and where I could have fun with something that I was so passionate about. The rewards of volunteering are plenty, but the most gratifying rewards I've experienced are not only growing as an individual these past 10 years, but being able to watch others grow as well. I've witnessed volunteers discover talents they never knew they had and take on roles that they never thought they could, all because they decided to raise their hand and help out in their community. And the best part of all, I came to our town knowing two people, my husband, who brought me here because we got married, and Mayor Driscoll, because I used to work for the city of Tecumseh, and we did a mayor exchange. So I reached out to the mayor, and she found me a role in downtown revitalization, and I took it. So the most important thing is that I've made lifelong friendships over that 10 years and wonderful, wonderful memories. I'd like to propose a toast. I tried to get the word around for everybody to bring their glasses. Water, wine. It's not church, but close to it. So I'd like to propose a toast and thank you and celebrate all who are willing to sacrifice your lives for our country, and to those who continue to give of yourselves every day to improve the lives of others and our community. Cheers. One last sentence. Thank you to the Saline Chamber of Commerce for doing things like this and all of the work that you put into it and all the volunteers. And the Evangelical Home, wow, this was an amazing event tonight. So thank you for treating us so special. Thank you to the Saline Main Street Board for nominating me, and for my husband for always being there to support me. Thank you.
Well, I've known Cindy quite a few years now, and I consider her a friend. We've had good times. She has an infectious laugh, I have to admit. But I was actually a part of that committee that we started, and they kind of glossed over it a little bit because you had a whole table full of people and everybody's got a great idea. And quite frankly, that one wasn't the favorite one up front, but Cindy fought for it passionately. And it rose to the top, and we all got behind it. And in the end, it was brilliance. It allowed the businesses to come together. We had businesses involved that in all my years of being downtown had not really participated in many things that much. They didn't, either feel the event helped them or whatever, but everybody kind of came together. It allowed the entire community to come together as one to support the downtown. It was kind of scary when we first started this because we had people come in and talk to us about what to expect, and they were like, business can expect to see 60% of their business go down the toilet, and I think it was Northville had 7 businesses close when they did theirs. So we went into this with a pretty fearful idea that we were gonna, it's like who among our friends are we gonna lose? So everybody pulled together and we worked really hard, and God love her, Cindy came up with this, and away we went with it, and we had a ball doing it. Although the chamber about killed me because we were one of the turn-in places, and we seemed to be for some reason the favorite. So we were just filling up buckets full. But it was wonderful to have all these people come in and support our community, and it couldn't have happened without Cindy.
And 39 other people.
But it was your idea, and you pushed it, and like I said, that table, it was probably like Congress is right about now. Everybody had a great idea, and nobody wanted to listen to anybody else's, and you pushed it through, and we appreciate that. So I just guess all I can say is thank you so much for your efforts all these years, but particularly last year, and the Saline Area Chamber of Commerce would like to present you with your Citizen of the Year Award.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
So Cindy, it's a wonderful thing to see strong women stand together in our community. And when we think about the fabric of our community, we think about the business owners, we think about the volunteers. And when we think about the success of why we want to live here, how we can support ourselves, when we think about the reasons our children will come back and stay and grow and thrive here, a lot of it revolves around a downtown area. A downtown area is often the heart of a community. It's where we gather, it's where we share, it's where we pass each other in the street. And so I'm so honored on behalf of Governor Snyder, Lieutenant Governor Brian Calley, myself, the state representative, and State Senator Rebecca Warren to present you with this tribute.
Thank you very much.
congratulations again, and thank you, Jill and Karen, and that was so creative. I've seen a lot of icebreakers, but that was fun. Anyway, so last but definitely not least, we have the Lifetime Achievement Award. The Lifetime Achievement Award is given to someone who has demonstrated many years of significant volunteer contribution to the Saline community. So at this point, I would invite the Jims, Jim Roth and Jim Peters, to the stage, please.
I don't have anything quite this great, but you might take a look along and find out many of these things that Jim qualifies for. In preparation, I asked Jim for his help as far as to know a little bit more about him, but I ran across Jim many, many years ago, volunteering and so on. But he exchanged a lot of emails, so Jim, you can hang on to these emails in case I forget something. Keep track. Last Sunday, I says, anything more you want me to say? And he says, this is it. And this is a little piece that he gave me. This is part of the church bulletin. He says, this is enough to say. So here it is. What's it say, Jim?
You actually kept that?
I kept that, yes. What's it say? Well, we'll get down to business. Jim came here in the 1990s. He heard about this place in Ann Arbor for hiring people, engineers. It was Bechtel. Bechtel's that 7-7 building, you know, on State Street, that big tall building. He came up from Ohio, my state. He was working down there and decided to look for a job up here, hired it at Bechtel, and he chose Saline as his bedroom. And from there, he got started with the church activities, and he soon became on to many committees for the church, and I won't go into all the members or the committees with it, but he's been very, very active with St. Andrew's Church. He's become a knight. He's also in their building committees, and he still serves on building committees for that particular church, so he's quite involved there. Then he went to one of our famous festivals, the Celtic Festival. He wasn't even a worker that year. He was a partaker. He was in our pub tent, and he was with some other engineering friends and come up with a napkin and brainstorming about Mill Pond and how this crazy thing would be. And he thought about a monster, you know, this. So his brain and creativity started to work. And he came up with the idea of Millie. They sketched it out in 2002, I think it was, and come up with far as this is what it kind of like to look at. And these guys said, yeah, they can make it work. And Pat Little was the chair at that particular time for the Celtic Festival, and Pat put the challenge to these guys, let's make this work. Well, the next year, Millie was born with a lot of work along with it, and it was quite an event, and that was probably the biggest news item that we've ever had for that particular festival. The local TV stations came out and did some interviewing with him. All the newspapers carried it, and he pulled Millie off. So he had groups there pulling it. And Millie's come back every year. Lo and behold, Millie needed a friend, and she got a friend. His name was Patrick. I don't know why they call it Patrick.
Kids pick that, I don't know.
All kids. I think they picked the right one. Something about our former mayor, Little, had a good name for it. Now, the littler one, so they even seem to have a little baby, maybe a grand monster or something. This little monster comes up, so they got, and that one, it comes up with different names, kind of, there again, kids name it, and name it different every year. So he was quite involved with it. He became on the board for as a volunteer, on board for his almost co-chair or chairperson for the Celtic Festival, and he's very, very active in that festival and why we have it today. Also, he's perfecting Millie and coming up with other ideas. Just a year or so ago, he came for those the birds, the carrier pigeons and so on. If anybody should be coming in and landing, looking at Metro Airport and look out their window, you might have seen the Celtic circles in the Brown Brothers wheat fields. So they put this insignia advertising our Celtic Festival. Was that one of your brainstorm ideas?
Crop circle, yeah.
Crop circle. They weren't circles. It was the Celtic design. Well, they had to check to see how accurate they were. According to the photos, it looked quite accurate. As far as how they did it, I'm not too sure, but the engineers put their minds to it again, so some brainchild ideas. Well, Jim has been giving us many, many different kinds of ideas through the years. Mayor Driscoll tapped him when Mr. Ivy, one of the council members, was moving out of town and asked that he would volunteer his time being a council member. So Jim served on the city council from 2011, 2013, filled out Mr. Ivy's term of office, and he was quite active, not only with the Celtic Festival then, he was on the Parks and Recreation Committee, and he still is active with that, even though he's not on council. So I got to know him through the Celtic Festival. I got to know him through Knights of Columbus and stuff at the church, and being an usher at the church, so our paths crossed quite a bit. And with this, the Parks and Recreation Commission he was on, and then he was also on the fire board. So he did serve the community quite well that way, but he's come up with many different ideas. Jim also loves history, and he was very active with the Saline Historical Society, and that's another group that myself, our paths cross in the Historical Society. He has come up with, right now he's replaced Wayne Clements, and he's been honored in the past, and with Wayne Clements gone, Jim has kind of picked up that spot, helping out as far as overseeing both the Railroad Museum and the Farm Museum. And he also is involved with, as far as the people who work with the garden, the beautiful garden that's out there at the festival, and we've got people in here that Jim works along with, and he's got a little bit of a green thumb, but he also knows how to get things organized, and lots of the food, tons of food from there go to feed the hungry people. So it's a great thing for the community. And right now, it's what you're actually vice president of the Historic Society and continuing doing lots of work along with it. So we appreciate what he contributes, his services there. He's been involved with the Saline River Alliance Council, and that's the people looking for his dreaming to take what the Indians used to do when the river was more navigable, put your canoes in or your kayaks in, go from Milan to Saline, or go from Saline to Milan, down to Monroe, right into the Great Lakes. So that's a possibility. So he's working with a group there as far as cleaning that river up and come up with some good alliances that this thing can happen. He also, with his dog, he loves dogs, and I think his wife also loves dogs. His wife Geraldine loves dogs, so she got him involved with the dog business too. So they're involved with, far as a founder of Animal Shelter and that type of stuff, and the Saline Canine Crusaders, and they started that in 2011. It's ongoing, so the Animal Shelter fundraising thing. And his particular dog needed a lot of exercise, and Jim was an outdoors person too, so he'd walk along the lowlands of Saline, along the river flood area of the Saline River. And his dog led him to a thing where the ancient animals and Jim's history stuff, I guess, where the mastodons used to get their salt water. So we still have a salt mine, seepage area that they ran into down at the bottom of that. And he looked at this land that's set aside, really back as a green belt, falling timber, fall belt, whatever you want to call it, was really not used, but not much use for anything. He thought this could be opened up, and he dreamt of it being a park where this stuff could be shared. So just not with him and his dog, and he made the approach with it. So with his efforts and so on, was able to get it through as a Salt Springs Park. Well, the city of Saline is named after the salt that was down there. So the French that settled this area and the Indians, they referred this as kind of the salt area. So they utilize that kind of salt. So but his interest in history, interest in his dog, all this stuff kind of tied together. So Jim volunteered lots of time with that. Along with, Jim is very sensitive to people, helping people out and helping, that we had a fellow by the name of Charlie Berg. And Charlie lived in this floodplain area, in a little trailer down along the river, and he had many dogs, and he loved animals. Well, Charlie became ill. Well, Jim and his wife stepped up and they took care of these animals for Charlie. Well, Charlie passes, and Charlie really didn't have any relatives in this area. He had previously, his dad owned Berg's Bar, which ended up being most recently Maggiamo's, that particular bar. And he had really nobody left. His family was gone from the area, no particular heirs or anything. So Jim stepped up and, along with Taylor Jacobson, helped this gentleman out, and they had an excellent funeral for him, a nice service. So did a great job that way. So Jim has a deep heart that way, helping out with the community. That property that he had was kind of, it came up for sale, and some more broad thinkers thought this would be nice preserve and so on. Along with a group that Jim helped out and got these ideas together, they end up coming up with the Saline River Preserve, and Dave Rhodes was involved with this as far as purchasing the land and getting it back for get a 501c3 thing, getting all this stuff organized. And with the passing of Leslie, they named this preserve the Leslie Needhammer Saline River Preserve. They got all the paperwork and stuff through, thanks to Jim, and a good mover on that, and also the mover for the Salt Springs Park. They just had a meeting this past week at City Hall as far as a hearing on the Salt Springs Park. We have some great things to preserve and open up for the community as far as, we need to thank Jim for his insights and all of the hard legwork that goes behind this. And this fall, since Jim's history in the salt, Saline being named after salt, and where it got his name from, he always would like to have a nice sign, historic sign from what the state of Michigan puts out for historic areas. So he's able to get one, go through all the red tape to get the official sign, and it was installed in November the 21st by parking lot number 4, right across, right where we have the farmers market. So that is there. The wording of it was quite a deal in order to get the state commission to go along and agree with it. So there's so many things that Jim has been involved with and shared. Along with this River Flats, the Salt Springs Park area, they want to see really if the mastodons did live down there and get the water from the Salt Springs. So they've been doing an archaeological dig for the last couple of years, and he's working along with the dig with it. So I think they're nearly finishing with that. This year should be about the last of it, and we citizens might be able to find out what they found. Right now it's all been top secret, because there was an agreement they made with the city, we're going to keep things quiet. I don't think they found that pot of gold down there. So we'll see what happens. As Cindy mentioned, she met him in HDR, and Jim had worked there after leaving Bechtel, and he was recognized there as far as community engineering company employee recognition for community service. So I think the employer recognized and encouraged their employees to be involved with community service. I don't think it was his wife said, let's get Jim get out of the house and do something different. I'll credit his dog for helping him get out of the house with it. But we really gained a good person when he moved into our community, and he's given countless volunteer hours for us and makes our community what it is. So it's been a pleasure to know the gentleman, and I'm sure that he has no intentions of giving up. His creative ideas are still going to keep coming. He just needs other volunteers to work along with him to make them materialize. So here's Jim. Did I miss anything? In here.
One more speech and we can get out of here and cool off. What do you think? Almost done. I want to thank Jim for his support and that excellent introduction. Thank you, Jim. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the selection committee tonight for all their hard work. And I want to thank our tonight's sponsors for making this all possible. That would be the EHM Senior Solutions, Saline Pharmacy, Dan's Downtown Tavern, and the Gold Limousine. So thank you to those people. I am truly thrilled to be a recipient of this Lifetime Award. It's one of those things you never think is going to happen to you. And all of a sudden the phone rings and it is you. And it's kind of a shock to your system, to be truthful with you. I just hope that this award can serve as recognition to all those people I've worked with over the years, because this belongs to them too. And I'm the guy standing at the podium tonight, but it took 100 people to make this happen. So, I hope the recognition goes out to all those folks too. Because we all know life is a team sport. It's not a solo event. And I've been so fortunate over the years to work with so many great commissions and committees and good neighbors and good friends. I've been blessed indeed. And just a quick list of some of the teams I've been lucky to work with over the years. And they're all very different, which makes how different they are. You have the civic-minded team. This would be the mayors, city council, city staff, all great people. I've worked with council for, my experience in council was a very positive experience. I really enjoyed it. If anybody out there ever thought about running for city council, I suggest you give it a try because it's very rewarding. Very professional crew we have at the city, very professional. The hardworking and fun-loving volunteers. This would be those of the Celtic Festival. It's going into its 22nd year. It's a pretty good run for a festival. This festival has become one of the premier Celtic festivals in the Midwest, which is saying something to us because some pretty good Celtic festivals in the Midwest. My thanks to the history-loving volunteers, Saline Area Historical Society, helping to preserve Saline's heritage. And the real history-loving and the ancient history-loving volunteers, the Huron Valley Archaeological Society, as Jim mentioned, they're conducting an archaeological dig at the Salt Springs Park to help piece together Saline's distant past. The Volunteers with Heart, very special group. This is Saline Canine Crusaders working along with the Friends of Michigan Animal Rescue and Roughneck Rescue, finding homes for dogs. They have no home. I can't say enough about these folks. They're the definition of compassion and dedication. They're truly amazing. And if anybody out here is looking to adopt a dog into your home, come see us. We have plenty of great dogs for you to choose from. The Volunteers with Vision. This would be those I work with at the Leslie Niehammer 501c3 Friends of the Saline River Preserve, creating a new, beautiful nature preserve for all to enjoy. Does anybody here know Charlie Berg? Do you know where his property's at? It's 15 acres just south of the DNR fish ponds. We'll probably have a grand opening, maybe in late summer, for this preserve. It's going to be a really nice addition to the community. The team with leadership skills. This would be the Coalition for Equality Community, CQC. Local leaders networking to build solid relationships between city organizations. The Vigilant Team, Saline River Greenway Alliance. These are guardians of Saline River working to keep the river and its watersheds healthy and clean. The faith-motivated volunteers, those of St. Andrew's Catholic Church and Knights of Columbus, with a focus on families and meeting the needs of their parish and the greater community. A great big thank you to my former employer. I am retired now for 9 months. But I worked for years for a company called HDR, and they're an engineering firm down there off of State Street in the Avis Business Park. And these folks were wonderful. They always gave me time off when I needed. You know, when you're serving city council, sometimes you have to run in the middle of the afternoon. They were great. They often worked their schedules around me, and they quite often supported our community events here in town with volunteers and with donations. So a big thank you to HDR. The Be Prepared team. This is the Eagle Scouts we work with. Young people, I think, representing what's best about America. Sometimes you think, oh, young people today, all they do is text and, this and that's all downhill. Go hang out with the Eagle Scout for about half an hour and you walk away with a pretty good feeling that America's future is in good hands. So, there are so many people in these committees and commissions, I didn't want to start naming names because it's just too many folks. But there is one name I need to mention tonight. No one's ever won an award like this without the support and understanding of their spouse. So I would like my wife Geraldine tonight. Yeah, you're all clapping. You don't know what she puts up with. She constantly rearranges her schedule around mine. I miss dinners. I come home late at night, 11 o'clock. You know how it is along these committees. They go long sometimes. I'm always running around the house like a wild man. I can't find my T-shirt. I can't find my power drill. I can't find my minutes. She says, Jim, they're there. She knows where all this stuff is at. Poor girl can't get her car in the garage. You look inside my garage, you can see a Loch Ness Monster. There could be an 18-foot-long Viking ship. Last year we had a full-size plywood dairy cow. Right now I've got a 10-foot park sign. So thank you, Geraldine, for being you and putting up with all my craziness. I'd like to close tonight with a call to action. If you ever thought you might like to get involved with the community, there are many ways to do so. On April 1st, and this is no fool, April 1st, there will be a volunteer fair at the rec center from 9 till noon. There'll be a bunch of folks down there with tables. I'll be down there with the Saline Historic Society. So come on down and visit some of the tables and see what interests you. See if you might like to get involved. And it's really true what they say about volunteering. You get back more than you put in. I think it's one of life's best returns on the investment. And some studies even showed that people who volunteer and get involved in the community actually have better health than people who don't. So it's rewarding. Give it a shot, and it's not only fun, but it's good for you too. So thank you for tonight and putting up with the one condition. I got through it.
You did. You didn't throw.
I didn't throw. I didn't throw, pass out, or anything.
No, you're doing. Well, we're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
I've known Jim for a little while now, and I don't get too excited, but most of my favorite discussions have been talking about history, because I'm a history buff too. It is a lot of fun. I grew up on a farm, and on a farm, there's work to be done, and you go do it, and you don't look around and see if anybody else noticed. So he stopped by to drop off his stuff and sat down for a few minutes, and we started talking, and I realized that probably of all the honorees that I've seen over the years, I'm kind of like you in that way, that this is a guy who's standing up here and going, why in the heck am I up here? I don't understand this. He doesn't understand it because he gives and he participates and he says, oh, it's all these committees, it's all these committees. Yeah, but you're on all those committees and you do all this work and you give to the community. And he literally doesn't get this. We were sitting there going over it, and he goes, I'm going to get up there, I'm going to throw up. I just know it. The last thing he wants to do is stand in front of all you people and be recognized. He likes to be in the background. He likes to help. He works, tirelessly helping all of us make Saline a better community. But once in a while, you got to get up here and let us pat you on the back. You deserve it.
No,
you did this stuff.
Thank you.
And I guess I could sit here and go on and on and on, but we're probably all getting tired and hot and all this kind of stuff. So let me just thank you for all of your years of service, and I don't get the impression there's any slowing down going on here.
I'm busier now than when I work.
Yeah, it isn't like we're all going, oh, well, thanks a lot, Jim, see you later. No, Jim is just going to keep going and going and going. So please let me be the person who gets to give you this Lifetime Achievement Award from the City of Saline Area Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks, Brian. Okay, friends, I'm all that stands between you and dessert and more wine. Actually, that's not the whole story. You're the only thing that stands between me and a bottle of scotch. So I'm going to be very, very quick. Jim, you have a tribute from my office as well as a proclamation from Congressman Wahlberg, State Representative Donald Lazinski, and your County Commissioner Alicia Ping. It has been established tonight, my friends, by Mr. Roth that Jim has a big heart. He's got just as big of a brain. And, in government, there are a lot of big talkers. But Jim, as has already been established, is a doer. And I can admit to you without reservation, this gentleman can run circles around men half of his age. He has proven invaluable not only with the Saline River Preserve and the Celtic Festival and City Council, the Historic Society. We could just go on and on and on. So I can't think of anyone who's more fitting of this award. We greatly appreciate everything you do, Jim. Keep it up because you make your community a better place. God bless you, my friend.
My pleasure.